All right. Welcome, everybody, to another special edition of Shadow City Mysteries House of Skye, where we go behind the scenes with everyone's favorite characters. Tonight, we get Matt times two, Deuce Matts. First up, we have Matthew Bell. Later on, we'll have Matt Walsh. So, Matthew Bell, please introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Matthew Bell. I'm playing Farank Tern. I'm a actor and dad here in the Atlanta area. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome. So we've been at this for a little while now. Longer than we thought, and shorter than we can believe sometimes. But
Right.
so now that we did one of these kind of before we even started, to kind of get an idea of where everyone was thinking and where they were coming from, and do some introductions. But now that we're 13 sessions in, how would you say your characters evolved differently than you originally imagined?
It's a good question. A lot of the initial ideas that I had for Farank. So Farank, and I think you probably remember, was originally going to be the butler. So he was going to be like either like a tank butler or something along those lines. And I was like, no, you know what? I always tend to favor a talking character or a bardish character like this, and so I went to my natural instincts. I was like, okay, that's probably the kind of way I'm going to play anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and embrace it fully.
Yeah,
Um,
it's tough.
so
It's
how is
tough
it?
to go
How's it gone
otherwise.
differently?
Yeah.
You know, when we first started out at this, I was a little worried because I wasn't playing a member of the household, that I wouldn't have enough story to participate in. And now, granted, in game we've only had 7 days of actual kind of
Yeah,
in game time.
it's about two, we clock at
Oh,
about two sessions a day.
yeah.
So
But what I found is I have been embraced by the family, and things are. I feel like I'm not necessarily a member of the family, but an integral part, and somebody that the family is really leaning on as a. I mean, maybe not especially as a lawyer, but certainly somebody who can talk to some people and get some things done around the house. So,
well, that should change soon, because as we're moving into third level, that means you pick up your subclass, which means you're
right,
actually a lawyer.
I am actually a full blown lawyer now. So,
Full lawyer. So we'll see. There's still some hurdles to
yeah,
get
that's
across.
true.
Yeah. So what would you say is surprised you most about the game?
I think probably the well, I mean, I haven't played like a full on D&D game in a long time, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of been a little bit different for me because we've played a more narrative game. I've played with you in the past where everything is more kind of story based, and there's not as much kind of hard die rolling and this, that, and the other. So I think one of the things that I've enjoyed is getting back into just some standard D&D combat, and so the combats have been fun and a little bit of a change and a surprise. Something that I've actually really enjoyed in the game is the whole influence system. I kind of built a character specifically around being very good at the influence system, so it's nice to know that it's working and that I'm able to get some tasks done and do some of the aspects of the influence system that's been going pretty well. So I'm happy to have been contributing to the Skye household as the negotiator on a lot of these things. So
Yeah. What else besides the influence system have you been enjoying the most about Shadow City Mysteries?
I mean, obviously, just playing the game with a lot of new people. I think certainly if you listen to a couple of the first episodes, there was a lot of kind of getting to know each other, not only from just a character basis, but also anytime you're on like a stream platform like this, who's going to talk a lot. How do you make sure that everybody has the appropriate amount of time on screen, and you're not stepping on each other's toes? And I think at this point we've really come to a good balance there, where people kind of give a little signal when they're like, I'm going to do some stuff and I want to be in the limelight for a little bit, and it's like everybody's like, yeah, let's go for it,
Yeah, no,
and
it's
yes,
been good.
ending it in there.
Yeah. No, it's a good table, good camaraderie around it. Everyone has their moments. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, definitely agree with you on that. And what would you say you're hoping to see more of in the House of Skye?
I'm really hoping to get into some of the intrigue. Um, there's several different kind of threads that are being pulled right now.
Mhm.
And I think only because I've played games with you before, I know there's some sort of underlying thing that we're probably picking away at from a couple different directions. And so I'm like, all right, there's got to be some sort of, you know, something going on. And so I've seen little hints of it here and there, and I'm like, I wonder if he's going. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to kind of really digging into a couple of these mysteries, and getting to know a little bit, maybe the bigger mystery as well.
Sure. Yeah, there was some speculation already from we had Winston and Ariel on,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was a topic was what have we surprised you with? And I'm just like, you just what you guys chase after, and then versus like what what I thought you were going to chase after. And this is the thing, because we do if you haven't checked this out, check out the map relationship, but we do spend some time at the beginning, plotting out different things. So there's my story overall that was already kind of existing, and then you all layered in some stuff. But it's interesting to see which of those strings you kind of like start pulling on, and then it's also interesting to see you pull on like multiple strings at once, and then I'm just like, oh, this is so it's tough. But then
Yeah, yeah.
and then, being a mystery, and they're obviously there are always that one, and I'm trying to be really good at not giving you too many red herrings, but there's always like that like false clue. But it's always funny because the false clue, even if I try not to make it the most enticing thing, is like the one you all like go, ooh,
Ooh,
maybe this is the thing, and then like
ooh.
literally spend 2 days searching after something. I'm like, no, there was nothing there, nothing, nothing there. So it's all right.
Well, I
It's all
mean, the
right.
prospect of finding another cousin, I think was
Well,
time well spent.
always,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a bonding session for sure. Uh, you know the But so like we'll flip the well, is there anything else? I mean, like what else is going on in Frank's heads, like ambitions, things that like, besides you know that would make Frank you know feel more of the family or more like an integral part. I mean, he is contributing all over the place
Oh,
with it, right?
absolutely. I think like some of his big motivations right now, and I started to hint at it a little bit, and I'm trying to kind of push forward on some of it. Is getting a lot of
The
the family.
ponies.
Well, the ponies, of
Yeah.
course. Yes, that is the biggest mystery, right? Are the Soretta Kestrels going to win it all this year? I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But no, just the challenge that is a household of people who don't feel like they belong in a high society, and then so not only is Farank there as just kind of the legal guide and a little bit of negotiations and stuff, but he's also trying to usher them all into
Well, he's
you
a
know
linchpin, right? He's a Society of Ravens member. So like you're like, yeah, this is what we do, and then they're
yeah,
all like, "What? We punch faces." You're like,
yeah.
you're like, "No, we don't punch faces.
There
Please don't
are
punch
better ways
faces."
of doing this.
So yeah, definitely.
So there's a little bit of that, and I want to start to layer in some additional kind of things with Farank, and I've got a
Hmm.
couple ideas
Okay.
of some personal intrigue, I think, which would be interesting.
Yeah,
But
well, definitely let me know, because that's what I've been asking the other folks too, right? Like,
yeah,
I'll keep driving. You've played games with me before, and a few of the others have as well. And I like an open sandbox ish world where you can kind of pursue whatever you want or whatever. But I do realize that sometimes, and I've seen it in the other games I've run, right? Sometimes y'all get like choice paralysis,
yeah,
or like you'll be like, oh, we're gonna. I mean, as everyone's having fun, that's fine. The story moves forward when it moves forward. But I always point out the world does keep moving forward, even when you all are chasing after things that don't always exist. So
yeah,
it's a hard line between the two. But I think there's a lot of moments in there, whether it's slowing down the time dilation a little bit and making a day last a little bit longer. But with the new system and everything, one of the things I've been trying to do is kind of explore how somebody running this game, and for others, like how should they kind of cut up their day, right? And I'm trying to
right,
do it in thirds, sort of, to allow something in the morning, some downtime in the afternoon, something in the evening. Um, But a thing I pointed out to Reggie or Ariel is y'all are supposed. I mean, you luck out because you technically are doing your job at all times by whatever. But the rest of them actually are supposed to be doing jobs as well, right? Like, so Reggie does occasionally go and perform something, but we're only in week one. Technically, we're in week 2. The first week, y'all came in Friday, right? But then we've only been actively working or playing for like a week. But in 2 more weeks, y'all are going to have to, you have your income rolls and stuff like that, and so like that's going to have some influence over whether you are going to jump a couple days today or after the session. But
I think one of Farank's big life choices right now is he's saving up to get some wheels, and I don't know if he's going to get like a motorcycle or if he's going to be get a family sedan. Yeah, exactly, right.
Truck. You always get trucks. They're good, reasonable workhorse vehicles. So
yeah, the picture that Winston drew of Farank and crew in the cab was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You can check that out on Instagram.
That's right.
So we're gonna flip the script for a moment, and let you ask a couple questions of me, just so we could give like a little bit more insight into what goes on behind the scenes, what goes involved, with it, but because there is a lot that's going on.
Okay. So first, I guess my question is really more of a meta question. So, like when you're sitting down and you're designing a game like Shadow City Mysteries, like, and it's built on top of a Dungeons and Dragons engine, like how are you feeling like you're balancing the role playing aspects and then like the combat aspects? Like, do you feel like this is a game that lends itself well to a lot of these kind of like daily Dungeons and Dragons? Oh, and then now's the fight kind of thing, or?
Well, yes, yeah. Well, so when I went into this, so originally, we were looking at what systems to bolt this onto if we wanted to do our own and everything like that, which we could. The team is plenty of experience across the board. And you'll see, like, while we are using 5th edition D&D, and we're letting ourselves into the SRD and everything like that for the abilities, and you'll see. So we're going to go over Farank's build right now and a little bit of like what he has and how this is similar to other mechanics and other like in the D&D system. The idea is for storytelling, of course, right? Mystery, and then of course there has to be combat, a little bit of combat, right? There has to be some high stakes, and how do you do that?
Right.
And so when I originally set out for putting this together with Steven and Brandis, I always kept in mind that like the first 6 to 7 levels of the game would be very street level mystery. You're beating up thugs, you're beating up mechanical things. The supernatural is near to non-existent, other than maybe the abilities the players have. I mean, even we'll go over after this one with Matt Walsh, his character is Savant. Even savants who have magic, it's more like street magic, right? It's more like sleight of hand and all this other stuff. The 7th to 13th levels was to be conspiracy, right? You're more established in the world. You don't have to do your day job to get by. You are still solving mysteries, but the mysteries are bigger than you and yourself, and it's more at a city level, but maybe even country level, right? And then from 14 to 21 is when we get into the high stakes, crazy supernatural that actually is in the world, right? Like there's this undercut of supernatural in the world. And so the thing is like, how do you bring a gritty street level game for a little while and then ramp it up into like crazy insanity? And we're using that as a basis of from what the game originates from, which is our original idea for our video game, Shadow City Mysteries: The Clockwork Noir, where you play the game 3 times and the game changes and gets weirder or different as you go through the game because you get more experience and you can see more and understand more or whatever, right? So we're kind of, we're putting that model on top of it. And I think it's working out okay. One of the things we had to do when we were structuring the characters is not just focus on, like, usually your D&D character is all about like what your combat abilities are. And we have those, but as we walk through, we have a lot of other elements that we've bolted onto the system, right? We have influence system, you mentioned. We have the crafting system. We have a patron and contact system or whatever that plays out throughout the game. And so when you level up, you don't just get a cool ability that helps you fight better or whatever, you also get some abilities that help you influence people, help you contribute to the crafting system, help you with your patron, right? Like all these different things, so that no matter what you're doing within the system, you're able to contribute, whether you're a thug like Quinn, whether you're the face, which makes sense for influence more so than anything. I mean, obviously you get more influence based abilities, but even, we were talking about, so with Ariel, about the factions. We don't have race in our game, thankfully, because there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that.
Right.
But we have factions, and the cool thing about the factions is because they're not a race thing, they're a organization or whatever, we can lean heavier into the factions to give you your thing that makes you stand out or very different, or what your unique thing is. And so even though, Reggie's infiltrator, which is like, basically a rogue, assassin, whatever, she's a brass consortium. So those are entertainers and gig workers, right? So she has a little bit of that charisma base, but that leans into how she goes about being an infiltrator. Whereas like or a face, and member of the Society of Ravens, you have those charisma because it's a charisma based class, but you also have the wealth and the influence from that. So you can approach from a different side. And even, Mandy, who also plays an infiltrator, we're pointing out, but she's part of the Cult of Tenebris, so like her take on infiltrator is totally different than like and so it definitely allows for us to do different things, to have that story element in there, because it's so heavily built into the noir and the tropes that we lean into, but also have the mechanics to be there for a cool and exciting and interesting fight. I mean, all those fights that you guys have been into so far, rats and mechanic, like some of you all died almost.
Yeah,
which was a surprise to me too. So there you go, like and I mean that to be said, we're just reaching third, and so before it was kind of like you do a bunch of things, you get a fight, you level up. This time again, you did a couple things, you fight, you're leveling up. Now it's going to be probably a couple fights, and then you'll level up, right? Like not every fight you're going to get more and more fights, you're going to get a little more abilities and so forth. Hopefully your survivability goes up a little bit. I was looking at everyone's hit points. It's actually the scary thing now is the hit points are starting to like, before you were like in a safe range amongst yourselves, and then now it's starting to spread a little bit. Like the glass cannons are definitely glass cannons, and then like, or not even cannons, the glass guy, the glass jaw is the glass jaw, and then like the folks with the heavy hit points have the heavy hit points. So it's interesting to see. Hopefully, it all play out pretty well. So yeah. Next question.
Is there? So I mean, we have a group of 6 of us, and we have 2 infiltrators. So in reality, we only have 5 of the classes. Was there a class that somebody didn't pick that you're like, I really like that one?
I love the Maker. So yes, I mean, well, so the 6th class is the Constitution class, which usually doesn't exist really in D&D, right? You usually have your strength based class, or your Constitution, because it's usually based on hit points. Doesn't really kind of like, well, how do you translate that into like being, but I thought we had a cool concept with the Maker. So the idea of the Maker is that they put their blood and sweat into their work, and that even the crafters that are the delicate ones are hardier folks because they just work all night. They burn the midnight oil, they do that this stuff. So I think our crafters or our makers are super cool. We we have the potential. We're going to have special guests in the future and so forth. So hopefully some of that a Maker on occasion. I do dig that class, and I also dig the subclass of there's the alchemist in there, the umbral alchemist, which again I really love the Cult of Tenebris. I'm not saying it's my favorite. I love all the factions because they were all my babies originally. So like I feel like every faction fills a space within the world. Especially again, I love noir and I love noir tropes, and so even to the chagrin of Steven and Brandon, I commented on this in an earlier chat, was like I even like just calling people out as like the detective, the femme fatale, the union boss, the politician. And they're like, they need names. And I'm like, okay, I guess so. But but I want to make, again, because it's heavy like that. I want you to, like, when you encounter a character or a location or a group or whatever, I want it to be pretty clear, like, this is what they do, right?
Yeah.
But there's still those subtleties to it, right? Because it is noir, right? So, the original kind of catchphrase for the game was, even in a world that's black and white, or sorry, even in a world without color, not everything is clearly black and white, right? And so there is those nuances there.
Yeah. Speaking of color, I've kind of intentionally ignored the mystic stuff. Like, I know I can go and I can read it, and I know I could brush up and know what the colors mean and what the different stuff means, but I'm kind of intentionally not, because I feel like Farank would not know anything about any of that stuff, right?
No, you would. I mean, the only touches of, you've been taught purple is bad. That's the only thing,
right?
Like the biggest thing, right? Like, purple is our danger color in the world. Any other color, that's, and this is roughly what most normal, like, day-to-day folks know, right? Technology can provide color in some way, shapes, or form, but it's always metallics, right? And so that's where you see, the turnstone touches, the gold, the brass, and the coppers and the silvers or whatever. There's a scientific reason for it, sort of. There's a like, and people, and it's just part of normal everyday life. Color itself, like, purple is the only color that people are aware of, because it does creep up, and that's mostly because the cult of Tenebris, while they're not illegal, right? It's frowned upon, and they exist, and their works exist, and so that, generally, and purple is attributed to the fallen goddess, and so, but there are other colors, but you've never seen them, right? And the whole idea is that if if you did see it, would you even know what it is, right? Like,
Right.
There was always an interesting, thing when I studied a lot of philosophy, and one of the talks was always like, well, how do you, there's this thing, there's this word, ineffable, right? Cannot be described with words. And it's like, well, what's something like that? Well, it's just like, well, how do you explain depression to someone who's never been depressed, right? And it's like, well, or, how do you explain color to someone who's never seen color before, right? Like, it's one of those things that just has to be experienced, right? And so I think that's also kind of like an underline. Like, I think I got too deep with that right there, but
no, I think it's awesome. But I'm hoping for that. Like, that's one of the reasons why I've kind of intentionally avoided it, so that way when it actually happens in game, I'd be like, what?
I mean, there's like high level abilities that, in the mystical space, that does make that evident, and then what happens to people who experience it for the first time is basically shock and awe, right?
Right.
It's just not something, and there's reasons for it. So
I'm looking forward to that playing out in the game and everything. So,
all right. Well, Frank's about to step in. So before we step into Frank's spa day, and it's not spa day.
It's not.
We're going to delve into taking a look at where Frank's at right now, what abilities he's got, and what he's going to be picking up, and kind of discuss maybe, like, has this been useful? Did you even know you had this ability?
I props to y'all. I really felt like the face class is really effective. So
yeah. So I'm gonna switch the stages, and I might have to add you. So give me 1 second, because you might.
No worries.
All right. And I was correct. I did not have you prep for that one. So there we are. Now Matt's back. All right. So we're gonna do a little walkthrough of Matt's character. Well, not really his character. It's his abilities. I don't want to go into the nuances of your character sheet. If you're a member of our Patreon, you can check out the character sheets, and it's a free membership. So go ahead and do it. You can pay for it too. There's some stuff it's exclusive for paid, but go ahead and check out our Patreon. We love having you there, and we will be adding more stuff as we go along, especially once the book is out. So, because that's where all our new additional content will be flowing.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So patronage faction. This is for being a size. This is your faction ability. So let's see. You get additional 1d6 when making a savings roll. The tricksy thing, I won't lie, this is always tricksy for me, is savings versus a saving roll. So some people were like, "Oh, I had this my saving roll." I'm like, "No, savings roll," which comes once a month. So
Yeah.
and you get a boost to your lifestyle, which actually is helpful because your lifestyle rating contributes to your influence. And you got a little extra spending cash to start off with. So that
I
did
do.
already come into play. So savings roll has not come into play yet, but it will. And the lifestyle rating has, because everyone else has really crappy lifestyles. So they are actually working against you whenever you're
Yeah,
like,
that's that's the other reason Farank is trying to get them all to embrace, hey,
well, I
higher
was going to say,
standard
like
living.
everything that Farank puts into it has to be off balance to everybody else's contributions. So keep that in mind. All right, so parliamentary delivery, which is this is one of my favorite
Yeah.
things. So you can fold up small pieces of paper and leave it in surfaces that where the trained corvids will pick them up and deliver them to other people within the society. Yeah, I think you use this a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've used it a couple times. Not too extensively, but I think
Yeah.
I think it'll come in handy, especially as we're gonna spend more time not necessarily all in the same place.
All in the same place. Well, yeah, all in the same place. Or if you are out investigating someplace that's dangerous, and you get caught off guard or whatever, right? It could be helpful to, or if you're out in the middle of nowhere, because again, there's travel time and so forth, right? And you need
Yeah,
to.
I do wonder though. I did have a question about this
Sure.
ability. Can I send messages to anybody or only other Society of Ravens?
Only really other society ravens will pick up
Okay.
that, right? So you're sending so this is a side thing for you. As you meet more society of ravens people, it broadens up your network of people to send it to. You can always send a generic message to the society of ravens, and somebody will
Somebody
look at
somewhere will answer, or at
but
least get it and be like, yeah,
get it,
whatever.
decide, yeah, exactly, decide, based off of your importance,
Right.
whether or not it's actually worth diving into. But who knows? It could always turn into one of those clutch moments where you're like, I sent this thing out like 3 months ago or whatever, and then all
Yeah.
of a
Right.
sudden you're in dire straits. You're before the government or something, and all of a sudden the door flies open, and Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, comes in and saves your ass somehow. So let's see. So because your background, which is sidekick, which was
Yeah.
cool. I like the fact that you picked up sidekick as the you got gumption, and gumption got you an additional skill proficiency and an extra saving throw, which
Yeah.
will come in handy having a third saving
Having a third proficiency saving throw. I saw that. I was like, and at first when I picked this, I was like, oh, it's just some more skills. But I was like, you know what? That extra saving throw really makes a big difference.
It will, because a lot of abilities, even though there's not a lot of magic in the world, we have a lot of abilities that mimic magical abilities. So being able to, and magic abilities, they
And
pull on
I'm
saving
playing
throws.
a highly skilled base character, so
All right, and your encouragement die, which is kind of one of your big features for being a face, which is kind of like bardic inspiration, right? Yeah. So let you boost up some of your D20 rolls. Eventually, the die will go up a little bit, which is super. I mean, the D6 is actually pretty decent anyway. It definitely makes a D20 less swingy. So yeah, I mean, you've used this a good bit. A little bit.
Yeah, I
As much
do.
as you
I
wanted
need to
to?
use it more. I always forget to do it before people are going to go do their things, and I'm like, oh, I should have.
Yeah, I think because you only have 2, right? But I think
Yeah.
you get them back after short rest. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think you gotta get in the habit of winking at people and give them the encouragement.
Yeah.
You can do it, buddy.
You can do it. You got this.
I think that's one of those abilities that once you realize you have it, and you have more dice to give out, you start giving it out a little bit more like candy, right?
Yeah.
You get an encouragement die.
Yeah. I think I need to get a catchphrase.
Yeah, well, that definitely make it so. Not in the face is another one that I'm a fan of, mostly because
this is the only reason I'm still alive.
it's your unarmed defense, right? So the ability to add both to your dexterity and your charisma modifier, but you're good at charisma. I don't know if you're middling in dexterity. So
I'm actually middling in everything. So my charisma and my dex are both +2, as well as my intelligence. So it's like
14's not bad.
Yeah, 14 to start, and then I'll whenever we get a bonus point, I'll put it into charisma, and that'll be
next level.
+3.
Next level.
Yeah.
The an uncanny dodge, right? Always nice to be able to have the damage that actually does come at you. So for a reaction, not so bad. Not so
Yeah,
bad.
it came in handy against those drill bots.
And expertise, which is straight up expertise, but again, pretty handy, especially because you're going kind of like lots of skill, lots of different
This
skills
comes in
and
handy a
everything.
lot. Yeah, the
Yeah,
difference between a +4 and a +6 is like, yeah,
and you'll get more of those eventually.
yeah.
And now you have limited spell, which really just means that if you do get abilities that are spells that contribute over, right, you'll be able to basically, this is just your charisma, your charisma based caster when spells come into play for you, which came into play for this one, your damning insults. So now you have vicious mockery as a cantrip that you cast with your charisma. So that's pretty dope. And what is that? Oh yeah, but the only thing that doesn't kill people just scares them or knocks them out. Yeah, but still pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I figure that'll come into play at some point here.
And you have your group encouragement, which again, another use for your encouragement die, giving people temp hit dies. Everybody loves temporary hit die. And
those came in very handy
when you were fighting the drill creatures. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Eye for Bar hasn't come into play yet, but definitely
I used it briefly when we were repairing, doing some investigation with Ignatus. We were trying to fix the
because of the cost of the materials. So but this will come in handy when you all start realizing that even though you're getting paid for stuff, you don't have as much money as you think you do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, yeah. And here we go. This is coming up. So now you're moving into third. You get your subclass. Your subclass is lawyer. So now you're going to be able to do cool things. So you get your objection, which as soon as I saw this written by Stephen, all I could think of was Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So but it's the lawyer trope, right?
Right.
Objection. So you can't handle the truth.
Exactly.
And this looks cool because you get to impose disadvantage, which will come very handy. I think there's been a number of rolls that would have been clutch if they could have been disadvantaged. And cast spells, you kind of face them immediately. Oh yeah,
so you can interrupt concentration,
which is great. Yeah. And once per. Is this featured once? There's lots of ways you can get it. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I know when we were doing this, Stephen was keeping in mind that we use it only for when you roll initiative. Everyone would be starting combats all the time, but also finishing a long and short rest. Because we did just like, all right, I'm just gonna punch this guy over here. And all my stuff resets. And we're just like, wait a minute, that's probably not how we intended that to go. And then your last new ability is the Prosecutor's Eye, which is Hunter's Mark, which is pretty cool. So it's and what that means is because it's a concentration spell, but so is, I believe, Vicious Mockery. Maybe it's not. But if you do have any other concentration spells, you can cast both of them and maintain them as long as it's the subject of your Hunter's Mark, which is pretty handy. So
yeah, not yet, but I have a feeling it'll come into play.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark is always one of those tricky ones that people always want to cast, but at the same time, because it's concentration. And thank you for viewing. I appreciate that, Canva. All right, so all right, let's step over into the other arena here. No, back here. So that's where you've been, where you're at. And we're hopefully we'll see a lot more of that going to action, just because again, like. Maybe foreshadowing, there will be more combat and more battles ahead for those abilities to kind of be used. And so I'm looking forward to the family coming together and learning more tactics, especially as they've expanded out their abilities. So I guess
I felt like Ignatus and I had a good kind of combo there because we're both kind of gun, arbalist shooters, and he turns out he's got quite a number of tricks up his sleeve.
Oh, he does. He does. He's got a few more too, actually. So the Savant Mastermind definitely becomes a controller of the field. So it's kind of cool. But you'll learn more about that in a little bit. The audience, not you. You'll be gone.
Right.
But
I'll watch.
You'll watch. There we go. Appreciate that. So so Wednesday night came and went. Well, sort of like you could go about your evening as you wanted to. Everyone kind of retired to their respective bed chambers with dreams of spa days ahead. And the next morning, you wake up whenever you choose, and there's an envelope underneath your door addressed to you.
Oh, well, I'll put on my slippers and still don't have a butler here to dress me, but it's the 30s, right?
Yeah, it comes with time. It's the 30s.
We'll take a look at the envelope, see what's going on there.
Well, the envelope is addressed to you. You clearly see it's Mr. Edmeyer's handwriting, as per the last one. There's a invoice inside that says for your work, and very meticulously lists out all the things that you've done. Like removing mechanical pests, doing things just addressed in a very formal work order kind of way of getting everything done, and then a payment of $120, which
excellent.
There's $120 in the envelope, and a note to you from your office. So you see very in the top of the Rock and Winters, lawyers advocates, to return to the office this morning.
Whoa. Okay. Hopefully, not getting called to the carpet here. Looks like I'm doing a pretty good performance. So I'll go ahead and put on, my good business suit. I'll call a car. I don't necessarily want to ride in the truck into town.
Hans is taking people in and out. Like you've seen him been driving people in and out all morning at different times.
I appreciate Hans, but no, I think I'll I'll have a car. I'll get a car if I can.
You can. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get out there because again, you're not. There's most people in this neighborhood have their own cars.
Yeah.
So
right.
Calling a car, it takes you about 20-30 minutes to get out there. You're watching the little thing on there. What is this guy doing? Oh, why did he turn down that road? What did he? Yeah, no, that technology doesn't exist as well.
That's right.
If it did.
Parliamentary Uber.
Yeah. So eventually the car arrives, takes you into town. Again, it takes about 30 minutes to get into town. Again, you weren't expecting to have to be called into work, so you probably would have left earlier, gotten up earlier if that was the case. But that's all right. You arrive outside the building in downtown, and it's it's on all of its monochromatic glory. Turnstones. It is a very nice office building, right? You have one of the nicer office buildings. It's one of the longer, well established. It's not the newest and finest, right? Like Rock and Winters has seen slightly better days, but they're not as bad shape as like the Skies. So it's just more of like they have their ups and downs, but no scandals, nothing right. As far as you're concerned, I mean, getting to be part of Rock and Winters right out of university was a huge boon for you, and then get this gig was even better. So
even with the imminent threat of murder bots,
it's only on a small list of things that of issues to worry about. But you've gotten to spend a lot of time at the Brass Rose Cabaret. So
that's true. It has had some perks.
Yeah. So you arrive at the office building, and take it from there. What would you like to? You saw that distinctly. The message wasn't from like the secretary or anything, right? Like the message was clearly signed by senior partner Herlon Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, I have to say hello to the receptionist who I haven't seen in a week and a half. Hi.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are things here in the office?
Well, it's busy. There's lots of lots of our clients are doing one thing or another that's causing us to have to spend some time in the courts. But aside from that, that's just a lot of letters going out, and a lot of packages and so forth. So busy time.
Any new hubbub around the office? Anybody?
No, not really.
Right.
It's only been a few days.
Yeah.
So,
You always kept me in on the good gossip. So
of course, nothing new. But I do know that Mr. Rock definitely wanted to know when you were in the building. So just so you know, I'll be sending him.
Until I understand, where should I head to see him? Where is he?
The top floor.
Okay.
And so
the
elevator.
Pleasure to see you. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, well, it's not so bad down here, and the weather is nice, unusually nice this time of year. So
right,
yeah.
I'll head up and take the elevator up to the top floor.
You get into the clockwork elevator. It is very smooth, and the ride is pretty straight to the top. There's no one else. You are a little later than their normal starting hours, so it's the normal crowd that would be waiting and pushing in and filling into the elevators is limited. You actually, it's a clear ride straight up for you, which is about the fastest you've ever ridden it. And then you get to the top and it opens up. And then there's obviously there's the secretary of both Winters and Rock. So he greets you. He's like, "Hello, Mr. Tern.
Good morning."
Good morning. I see you have an appointment with Herlon.
I do indeed. Yeah, he asked me to come in today.
Are you ready? Are you ready for Mr. Rock?
I as ready as I'm ever going to be. I'll say, recent events has made me a little bit more ready than normal. So I think anything
I have no idea what that means, but yes, if you would like, he's ready to meet with you. He just finished a conversation with Mrs. Winters.
Excellent.
So, yes, and you walk into a very, very nice, but not as nice as it could be, right? Like it's a nice, nice wood. There is some turnstone embellishments. It's not over the top. It's, you did interview at a few other advocacies within the city, and there are some like
really nice ones,
really, really, really nice ones. And but Rocket Winters has definitely had some good cases and some good clients recently. And that has definitely put them back on the docket of the upper to better firms in the city, right? So Herlon Rock is standing drinking his coffee, looking outside the window over the city. Is like, Tern, come in, kid.
I'll walk in and give him a good professional handshake.
He appreciates the handshake. He's like, Tern. Sorry, your turn. Rock. Herlon Rock is an older gentleman. He has short, curly, white hair. Little bit of little chops to the side of him. Darker complexion. Older gentleman. He also has a goatee. But all very well kept and mannered. His suit is impeccable. Little flash with he's got a handkerchief that does have turnstone threading to it, right? So that does pop a little bit. It's a nice watch, nice. Clockwork watch that also has turnstone. He's a man of means, but you know him to be a pretty fair and straightforward individual. So he's like, "So Tern, I hear good things. You're doing good work with the Skye Estate."
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
In fact, Skye reached out to us and said that He's been so pleased with your work so far. He wants to make sure that you are, well, how did he put it? He wanted to make sure that we if you were to keep working with the family, that you had the proper you're up to par, or up to bar, if you will. He wanted to make sure that that nobody questioned your authority or ability to handle the work being given to you. So we want to make sure that what that means is well, you actually need to be an advocate, like a licensed advocate and lawyer. And part of that is you being able to put in a certain number of hours. And I know you were close before we sent you on this, and so what I like is for the next couple of days, you attend the courts with me.
Yes, sir.
And basically, you don't say anything, keep your mouth shut, but you hand me the papers that I needed there, and you observe what's going on within the legal system and everything like that. And it's very, very important that that you understand like how we do what we do and why we do what we do.
Absolutely, sir. Are we going there today?
We will be. We will be in a little bit. But I have a question for you, Tern.
Yes, sir.
What do you believe the justice system to be in the city?
Well, sir, I believe that the justice system is here to provide some amount of recompense to people who feel wronged by others in the city. I think maybe in my before I had taken this position, I might have had a little bit more rosy color on it, but having seen a couple of the avenues of the more, we'll say, street level justice here, I feel like maybe the justice system may be a last resort for a lot of people in the city.
It's worse than that. You're still looking at it a little too rosy. Justice system is an illusion. No, there is no justice in the city. Justice system is there to well, it's not justice. It's punishment.
I see.
Everything we have in here, the only people that the functionary within the city is it's all about favors, wealth, and your worth. If you don't have any of that, there is no justice. And that's just the truth of things. We hold a very careful, delicate balance for the wealthy within the city to make sure that their worth, their favors, and their acknowledgement is carried to a power system that allows them to actually have influence in the city and get away with the things that they need to get away with.
I see.
Yes. So keep in mind. And the other thing is, remember, this is an autocracy. So there's a fine line where religious law comes in, and we have nothing we can do about it. So our other job is to, while we don't understand necessarily the religious ramifications of the things that our clients do, it's our job to try and steer them as far away from and dealing with the church in any way, shape, or form. Because once it falls into their line of the legal system, we don't have any power whatsoever. So
I see.
It's very, very important that we realize these things. I think we say, this is why I always say we're not really lawyers, we're advocates. All we could do is go into the courts, speak what we can, hopefully, grease the right palms, move the people that are on the other side of the bench to lean towards in favor of our people. And then behind the scenes, we need to be making the right connections, meeting the right people, and talking to the right folks, so that when we do find ourselves in court, it's already been decided before we even have to say a word.
I see.
I hope that doesn't, rattle your worldview a little bit of like what you thought that you were walking yourselves into. But
it doesn't rattle me too much. It does give me a little bit of a little sad, because I had a dream of arguing a case successfully in front of a court. I might still be able to get that dream, but it might be predetermined. So will that take a little bit of the shine off of it? Well, I don't think so.
If you want justice, there's plenty of other countries in this world that actually do have real justice. They're just not here. Yes. You'd have to get licensed though in those countries, most likely. Who knows? Maybe I think it's actually told that in some of them you are allowed to represent yourself or have other representation. That's not necessarily there, but it's advised against because you wouldn't know the legal system there. But
well, I mean, if I am going to continue to work for the Skye household, he is an international powerhouse, so I might find myself needing to be licensed in some of these other places.
You may very well indeed, actually. So you don't think you won't get your chance necessarily to argue in a court. It just won't be in a Vesipon court. I can tell you that right now. So, and he walks you through basically the agenda for the next 2 days. He says, in order to get your hours in, you'll need to attend the court with him. You'll be, you have a few defendants ahead of you. He'll also be taking you to, I wouldn't say exclusive bars, but there's a couple lunches. There's a lunch that they'll have today and tomorrow. And you'll be meeting some other movers and shakers within the legal system there. And for the most part, that'll be your next few days as you go into, and then you'll arrive back into the household on Saturday, assuming you want to go back to work at the Skye Estate and don't want to just keep, opening Rock's briefcase and handing him, documents.
It does sound very tempting, and while I do have a personal mission to improve my my standing and whatnot in the Rock and Winters advocates.
Well, you can go ahead.
Society of Raisins.
Well, you could actually you could go ahead and do a again your four choices of insight, or deception, or intimidation, or persuasion. So obviously, I didn't want to start with intimidation.
And obviously, I feel like I need to get a skill that actually gives me a bonus in intimidation. So I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll pick up that. I don't know when you get new skills in this game.
You don't really. No, you can with feats. You can with feats.
Okay.
If you take certain feats, it'll unlock additional skills occasionally.
Well, let me go ahead and I think I've been doing a good bit of persuasion here. So yeah. We'll start with one of those. That is a 16.
All right, that's one success.
Absolutely. See that +6 really makes a big difference. And a little bit of deception goes along with persuasion at the same time. But that is only a 13.
Only a 13.
Yeah.
That is a. Don't you have? We were just going over abilities. Do you have any abilities that let you?
I mean, I don't think I can use an encouragement die on myself. I feel like Face is a little bit like voodoo. It only works on other people.
Yeah. I'm just double checking. No, you can't use it. Can't you use encouragement die on yourself? Another creature. Oh no, another creature. And
we'll just give a little insight here and.
Yeah, I could do your insight as your last one.
Yeah. There's an 18.
18, that's another success. So you get 2d6. So go ahead and give me a 2d6 roll.
Yeah, I'm still pretty good at this. There we go, 7. That's not bad.
7, yeah, okay. So we're going to be adding 7 to your roll, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. So, as we prep up for Matt Walsh to join us for the second half, and we're going to do a 5-minute intermission after we let you go, just so I can breathe. I'm going to toss it to you to let us know where people could find Matthew Bell on the interwebs, and if you're up to anything, if you'd like to promote anything.
No, I'm Embellish ATL on Instagram, but not on a lot of other places. Currently, I'm helping to assist the Chambly on-stage production of Mean Girl. If you're in the Northeast Atlanta area, February 12th through 14th, we're going to have a high school production of Mean Girls.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty neat. So, yeah, definitely check that out. All right. Well, thank you, Matt Bell, for joining us and letting us get into seeing a little bit of Farank and what's been going on with him. Like I said, we're gonna do a short 5-minute intermission, which is probably gonna put us about 3 minutes, close to 5 minutes after the hour here. So check out our intermission screen and listen to some nice lo-fi tunes. But thanks, Matt. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you on Tuesdays on 9 p.m. at our regular scheduled time. Same dot time, same. Can't say that, I don't think. So yeah, ignore all that part there.
Yep.
I believe that's probably owned by somebody else. So
Probably.
All right, cool. All right, we'll see everybody in about 5 minutes. Cheers.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello. All right. We're back with another special edition of Savage City Mysteries House of Skye. This is now Matt Part 2. That's right.
Night of the Mats.
The Night of the Mats. That's right. Totally missed that when I was setting this up entirely, but it's been good so far. So thanks for joining us, Matt. How about just a quick introduction of who you be?
So who I'm playing? Me, myself, or who I'm playing? Or just the normal introduction?
A little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You know. It's
Well, I'm Matt Walsh. I'm playing Ignatus Ibison. He is now a third level servant, or is it still 2? It's going to be third through the session. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be third through the session, right? Yeah.
All right. But I've been playing role-playing games for a while and really enjoying Shadow City Mysteries.
Excellent. Wow, glad you could join us so we could give a little insight more into you and Ignatus and what's been going on and where you think it's going. So first off, like we met, we met when we I don't want to go into that. We've known each other a very long time, and way before we when we had hair on top and not such gray beards. So that was the time long ago. But we had one of these sessions before we started the campaign, and obviously things have changed, right? We went in, we hadn't played at all. We just had like what we thought things were going to go. So now that we've been playing, now your character's been through 13 sessions roughly here and there, right? How's your character evolved differently than you originally imagined, Ignatus?
I think it's more the mechanical differences. I mean, I was not experienced with 5e. Prior to this, I'd never actually played a game. And so I think, not understanding some of the mechanical aspects at the start of the game, and, some of just the general 5e stuff. But yeah, I've kind of, I kind of had a vision of him being this like superior, investigator, the super investigator. But I found that the Savant just has such, versatility. There's so much more than I like that I thought he could do, and especially through, acquiring the tricks of the trade, the spells. I know I'm supposed to play them as more mechanical tricks, but they're
magical. There's it's street magic, right? That's what it's kind of thing.
Peter natural capabilities. There's such versatility there. Once again, not being familiar with 5e and not being really familiar with a lot of the skill lists. Just now that I went to third level, I spent an evening going over all those second level spells that I have now access to.
Well, I mean, that opens up a whole new world, right? Like,
exactly.
I was looking over because I was updating some sheets and things like that. I'm looking at your abilities. I'm like, what are you gonna do now? And it's like, so I agree, like the versatility is there, but I still think like, the abilities you picked up will definitely move you more towards that, really good investigator detective kind of thing. So
yeah. And that's, and he's actually a bit tougher than I thought he was going to be. Because when I picked the class, I didn't realize, his hit points are actually pretty good, and he's actually pretty tough. So he's actually useful.
I'm glad you noticed that, because I noticed that too. Because like I was just talking to I just had a session with Matt, the other Matt Bell, and the face, there's certain classes that now you're a third. The divide between your character's hit points is starting to get more significant, right? And so like obviously the heavy is a little bit the tough, not the tough. Technically, the maker would be the toughest, but we don't have a maker in our group, so like but then like I think to the surprise of the infiltrators, they're actually kind of beefy as well. But you're no slouch in the hit points department. So like which I think is handy and gives way for the survivability of the because I think a lot of times people think intelligence class, they think like glass cannon or whatever, right? And since that's not the intent, like because you don't actually have like magic, like we balance that out, right, with giving you a little bit hardier
it's a nice blend, and it kind of is a cross between different genres, but allows Ignatus to jump in there when he needs to. He didn't hesitate during that last fight. No,
it's great.
I wasn't surprised I wouldn't have been surprised if he died, but
well, I think everyone's realized that combat is it's combat, right? There's
Yeah,
always the
exactly.
risk, and I think that's what makes it interesting, right? And
Well, like I'm
and
used to, I've started playing like a lot of the old school gaming. So I mean, you're literally rolling into a dungeon with a wizard with 1 HP sometimes. So like, like it's characters die. I'm used to that, but yeah. So it's a little bit different with 5e, but like I'm very used to that, and combat being extremely dangerous. But I also knew that there were some other people that were more fragile in the party, so I jumped up in there.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. It was good. It was a good combat. And I think as we'll see as we move along, the milestones for a combat, doing some stuff, you leveled up. Now you're moving in the third, going on the fourth. There'll probably be a couple combats and then some stuff before you level up. So you'll get to use a lot of these new abilities and some of the abilities you haven't touched yet, a little bit more too, right? So, and I think everyone will start to find their space in the combat, right, and how you work together and how you make that all happen. So what would you say has surprised you the most about the game so far?
Like, I mean, the scenario in general, I mean, there's just a lot of depth. There's a lot of different layers in the city, and so trying to peel those off, especially the one thing I would say that I do sort of regret with Ignatus is like going low on the charisma, because there has been a lot of faction interactions and a lot of roles where I'm like, oh, okay, this -1 is not going to help me here. So
Stephen and I comment on that quite a bit. We're like, oh, poor Ignatus.
But I mean, that kind of fit into the character I was picturing, where he was sort of socially awkward. He was kind of like a little bit of a jerk at times. So like,
it definitely works. And I mean, in the worst case, I mean, it's not the greatest spend of a attribute and boost, but you could always like work towards negating that out or whatever, right? Whether that's through beats that only add 1, and so it's a very gradual piece, or if you just go, you know what, F it, I'm gonna cancel it out, and
I'll probably just roll with it and boost up something else. Why not?
Just let Farank cover the other half of that.
Exactly. Or watch, have the team let me speak and watch it all go horribly wrong.
Wrong. So it's not so bad. It adds to the swinginess of it all, right?
Yeah.
What would you say you're enjoying the most about Shadow City Mysteries?
Yeah, I mean, I love the, like I said, I love the complexity and the different mysteries there are to solve, because I think we said at the beginning, like I like kind of solving problems and solving puzzles. So all of the different things, I'm using, I'm taking notes, in a note app that creates this web between all the different notes I take, and I kind of have that graph that links them all together, and so it's coming together where it's like it's a huge spider web. So unraveling that spider web and figuring out the connections and figuring out, what happens to the orphans. Ignatus isn't really too concerned about the orphans, but the rest of the family seems to be concerned. So
yeah, they do. They seem overly concerned. It's not overly concerned. It's just surprisingly concerned. I mean, I get it. Like again, I knew that some of the things that we put on the board when we did the map, the pregame, where you guys were able to, add your own 2 cents into what would be in the city and everything like that. I knew obviously some of those you would want to navigate to because you put them on the board or whatever, right? As a team. But I am surprised on what people are, they're jumping towards more heavily. And I'm like, all right, this is the thing. So we should probably, get to the heart of that. My hope is, because again, the way it's kind of set up is like, 1 through 6 levels is kind of like the mystery, the lower level stuff. And then, 7 through 13 is more like city-wide conspiracies and things like that. And then whatever, I hope to wrap up some of these, different mysteries before you all hit 6. Just to have some achievements, because that's the only problem when there's a lot of different threads that you could be pulling at, right? Is it means that it slows you down your ability to. Now in some cases there is overlap, right? Some things will come together and you'll be like, aha, that was connected to that thing, or whatever. But in some cases they're totally like just that thing's happening over here and that thing's happening over here, and it's Shadow City is a dangerous place with a lot of effed up things going on all the time. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I mean, insectoid automatons attacking us was unexpected, and that's a whole new investigation we have to look into.
Where did these come from and why? Exactly. Yeah. No, and you will on Saturday once you're done with your spa day. And so what are you hoping to see more of in the House of Skye? What's something that like Ignatus, besides the mysteries, those are all there, right? I mean, that's there. Is there anything else that you as Matt Walsh wants to see more of? Because we touched on it, or we haven't touched on it at all, and you're like, you know what? I thought we were gonna have more peanut butter with our mechanical insects.
No, I think now that I'm kind of getting more comfortable with Ignatus, I'd like to get into the more of the social interactions. I think early on I was still kind of feeling out the character myself. So I think now that I'm getting a little bit more familiar with it, I'm enjoying. I want him to be that. I want him to demonstrate that -1 in charisma.
Sure, why not? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think everyone's finding their space at the table, right?
Yeah.
There's good breathing room. I think everyone's pretty big. When somebody wants to have a moment, we were talking about this today. Actually, when everyone wants to have a moment, there's a moment where you could be like, you could have the spotlight for a little bit and do your thing. And I don't think anybody is too worried about that, because there's a lot of person. Well, Ignatus' lack of personality, but like everyone has a lot of personality. It's not a lack of personality, right? It's just a negative kind of personality is there, and I think it's good to delve into that and see where that takes you. So,
yeah, I think the one thing I'm surprised with, is because I feel like we're at times breaking, the cardinal rule of role playing games and don't split the party. We've split the party a lot. I don't know. I don't know whether that's intentional or not, but like I was surprised how many times we've gone in like different directions.
Well, the good thing is I don't mind that so much, right? So my for me, I like I run a lot more narrative games, right? This is actually my first time running 5e D&D.
Okay.
I've played lots of 5e D&D, but I've not like run it a lot. So for me, I like more narrative based games. I like a lot of looser. I also like a lot of like homebrew rules and everything like that. Now the good thing is we've designed the system to strap on top of D&D 5e. So we do have a lot of homebrew rules, right? We have the influence system, we have our crafting system, we have the patrons and everything else, right? So I've been able to, working with Steven and Brandis, who know 5e like inside and out, to be able to get the things that I want into the world through manipulating the system in a way, right? And I really feel like so normally you're right, like you wouldn't want to split the party or do these other things like that. But because the game's not inherently heavy combat where you need everybody in order to offset the CR, the challenge rating of the combat. I mean, I have avoided for the most part of when you all are off individually or in little packs of 2 of having a combat happen, because it's just so burden. It's not burdensome. It takes time, right?
It takes a lot of time.
And then that means that everyone else is sitting out while everybody's doing. So most combats in general will be set around you all being together. And most of the individual interactions will be dealt with on either skill-based challenges.
So you're saying if we always stay split, there'll never be combat, right? So that's the way to stay alive.
It is maybe. Or I just decide the one-off, like one-shot you, just like, wow, all right, it's Hans decides to just
metagaming, Walsh.
Yeah, it's fine. You do what you need to do. We all need to survive. So, and all of these conversations, we've been flipping the script a little bit and letting you all ask some questions, and maybe I could answer some deep or not so deep insights. I don't know. I got really philosophical with Matt Bell a second ago on theory.
So I do apologize. I did not prep as many questions as I wanted to because I had a very busy week. But
such as life.
You as a DM, what are you enjoying most about our party in general? I feel like we have a lot of good vibes between us, but I'm curious what you're enjoying the most between us.
I enjoy you all not doing any of the things that I'm expecting you to do most of the time. I like your interactions. I like all your interactions with the NPCs. I enjoy that. I love your interactions with each other because again, it's about right now. It's about a family it's never been a family being brought together, and how you interact and you choose to accept or not accept those aspects, right? And the pushback that comes from that, begrudgingly or inherently or whatever the case is. I also am always surprised of what threads you all are actually deciding to chase after. Right? Like I keep commenting on this, is like I'll throw like a random NPC that's not like just makes an offhand comment, and suddenly now members of the family have adopted this person as like, you know, their auntie, and this is
I'm
like,
telling
what?
you, Agnes behind everything. She's
Agnes,
the
yeah. Well, there's that other conspiracy. Actually, that's my other. I will say that's my other favorite thing. Especially from you and Mandy, because you guys, you know, you both of you crack me up with the theories you throw out, like, well, this person's obviously the murderer or whatever, and I'm like the negativity between Mandy's view on like she thinks like everybody is the killer or could be the killer or whatever is like, am I the only one? And I'm like, I think you are the only one, Mandy, who thinks that this person is like, oh no, wait, Ignatus might think that they're also like involved. So I'm always loving the theories that get thrown out, and this is like, because then it makes me think
it's the influence of the cult of Tenebris. So
yeah, that's true. There is that common thread there, right? The cult of Tenebris between you and Mandy. So there's that, right? Yeah, it's interesting. It's well, I mean, and it makes sense, right? Not to be trusting of the world and everything like that, because you know they don't trust you, right? So why would you? And that falls into that's the fun part, right? You, for the most part, everybody's kind of playing different factions or whatever. And you know, I was talking with Ariel about this. You know, we don't have race in our game, right? Factions replace that, and because of that, I think factions allow us to go harder into specific tropes and specific things that make the factions who they are, without worrying about all the negativity that could come along with some of those tropes if you throw it onto race or whatever, right? Which is good. So you know, the called Tenebris players have their own kind of view and seeing life and things or whatever. You know, the Brass Consortium definitely. I mean, you know, we you know, Mandy's playing an infiltrator, Ariel's playing an infiltrator, but they're very distinctly different infiltrator characters altogether, which is nice. Like you could, you always worry that like in games like this that people playing the same class would basically be contributing the same things to the table, and they're actually not. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's the things you chase after, the NPCs you imprint on versus the ones you don't, and then yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see how you interact with the world as I spin it. So yeah. Anything else? Did you get at least one more?
So yeah, I'd just be curious because obviously, you know, the world of Shadow City is, you know, well, it's great. It's grayscale and it's, you know, does have black color and everything like that, and like it's a very different world than I guess a traditional world. Now, obviously, you have a lot of experience in it because you've been working in the setting for a while. But like, what do you see? What do you run into as challenges? Like, are you always like about to say a color? Like, because I'm almost in session, like about to say a color, like tip of the tongue.
So, oh no, I do. I mean, yeah, no, it's still tough, right? Like, even on the one-on-ones, like the earlier, like behind the scenes, you know, Katie and I were talking about a drink and having an orange, and we're like, well, I mean, we assume it's an orange. It's in the shape of an orange. It's not the color of an orange, you know, like so. Yeah, there are things that make it tough. But at the same time, you know, I think it's kind of it's the very when I first came up with Shadow City Mysteries, the first tagline, I think I've repeated this now, the first tagline I ever said was, even in a world that's colorless, not everything is black and white, right? And so we drive the monochromatic is the kind of drive through the whole world is black and white, but you know, the fact that it isn't, right? And that there are all these tropes, and it's very part of the noir issues that it isn't all black and white. Like, there's lots of gray areas. There's all this stuff that we're kind of addressing, and so it is at the heart of the game itself. And it's just finding ways to be colorful with like brass and silver and gold, and ways to make that kind of stand out. Like in Winston's session for Perrin, he went to the main church or whatever, right? And so like churches, you know, usually have a lot of like stained glass and everything like that, and the churches here still do, but they don't rely on the glass so much to be the image. They rely on all the metal that's in between the glass that holds it together, right? And so that's how they build their, you know, their art and their structures or whatever. So yeah, it's tough, and we're gonna slip.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's what we're used to is using color as descriptors, right? But it's like anything, right? We make mistakes, and then we stumble a little bit back. We take it, and we reassess it or whatever, right? I mean, I think that goes for a lot of things in life, right? So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I think we've been. I mean, I think it's been great sessions, and like I said, I'm learning 5e. I've never played it before, so everybody's been great about that. And
we have a good mix of people who really know it, and the people who kind of know it, and the people who don't know it at all. So I don't think it's really so bad. And I watch a lot of other actual plays and other things like that, and I constantly going, I don't think that's how that rule works. And then here's the thing. We're playing a game of make believe, right? And it's improv with some rules structured around it. And I think at the core of it, what's more important, at least for me, is the story. And so when the rules get in the way of the story, then that's no fun, right? Like that's not the point of this, and nobody's winning, right? In the end, for that with that part, right? We want the combats to be challenging. We want them to be interactive. We want them to be the fun to engage with, but if we forgot to give somebody advantage or disadvantage on a roll, or they forgot a bonus here and there, I'm not so like, oh no, can't happen or whatever, right? It's just it's part of the experience, and that's part of the what kind of makes it exciting a little bit is if we wanted the rules to be exact, we'd play a video game. Because that can make sure, and even I played a lot of video games that are based on D&D 5e, and they even get some of the rules wrong. So in their first iterations, until lots of people jump on the interwebs and
complain,
scream and complain and go like, "You got this wrong. This isn't whatever." But I mean, that's everyone's right, I guess. The scream and complain on the internet. So let's walk through Ignatus and their abilities and what you've used or maybe not used over the last few sessions, and see what you're about to pick up. And so I'm going to switch the screens. You might fall off. You will fall off for a second. I'll put you back on. So
okay.
All right, and we're back. Not so bad. All right. So Ignatus is a member of the Cult of Tenebris, and one of the cool abilities which you and Mandy use quite a bit, which is good because is the Signs of Portents.
This was the one thing that sorry.
Go on.
I was like, this was the one thing that really attracted me to the cult. I just thought it was a really cool mechanic to have that, that ability to re-roll in certain scenarios.
Yeah, no, and it definitely reroll or replace, right? So yeah. So it's pretty cool when it happens. It's only you, but still, I know there's a spell or whatever, or another ability that I've seen before where you can use it for other people. But I do like this aspect of the faction. So that's a neat one. Where does it come from and why? Well, who knows? But and then this does not come into play as often. Oh, it did come into play a little bit in the basement,
I think.
Yeah,
in the basement.
Yeah, before you were able to get some light down there. So it'll probably come into play a little bit more in the future. But still, night vision or dark vision is always a cool ability to have.
And I think it's cool for an investigator to have that, so they can kind of like go into dark places and not go into an apartment without having to throw
on the lights. Yeah.
Everybody see you're there. So.
That is true. Actually, I didn't think about it that way. And then, both you and Perrin have erudite because you're both with the church school. But I think this is one, like I was talking to Winston. It's like both of you are pretty good to remind the other one that you have this ability when it comes up, because I think in the moment sometimes you both forget that this is a thing that you have advantage with.
That's definitely something. I think I've forgotten this a few times. There's been a few things that, like, at the end of the session or like 30 minutes later in a session, I was like, oh, I should have did that.
Yeah, no, it's a tricksy. It's tricksy to keep track of all the different things. It's tricksy for me. I can't keep track of all of y'all. And then expertise, which is expertise. So again, that little extra oomph on you did. I think your Arcana and investigation.
Yep.
And then tricks of the trade, which is your magic, not magic. with intelligence as your attribute, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And more if that's a really long thing. And then here's your current spells. So Grease, Command, Hex. You just got Identify. Or you're gonna get Identify. So Grease, I know we talked is like, it didn't work that. I still think Grease worked out well with the Scorpion, regardless. I know it didn't last for as long because it's so big and it moved out of the space that it was in or whatever. But
yeah, no, I mean, I love. There's just so much versatility. I mean, especially in a situation like this, like we're in a car chase. It's like the oil slick behind the car, like 100%. Things like that. Yeah. Like, you know, there's just so much versatility. You know, we're being chased upstairs, just throw it on the stairs to the person behind you, and so I want it to work.
No, of course.
The one time I used it, it didn't work as well, but
it worked though. I still feel it slowed him down. It couldn't move like that scorpion. That giant scorpion would have been on them way faster if it hadn't been for the half speed. So for the difficult terrain. So no, I still think it was handy. Command, Hex. Sadly, mechanical creatures that didn't come in handy yet. So there's a couple people who were like, I wanted to use that thing against them, but.
Yeah, Command I didn't think would work. I think Perrin tried to use it.
But... Yeah, Perrin. Yeah, we chatted about that. And then Hex is always handy. And Identify will become useful. And then Augury.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the ones in Tricks of Foresight. That was when I saw that on level 3, I was like, "Ooh, that's nice. Those are some nice utility ones."
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it definitely leads into the detective piece, right? Locate objects, and then enhance abilities is a nice little boost, especially since ability checks come in quite a bit in this game comparatively to probably a normal D&D session. So
yep.
And then your superior intelligence, which is kind of, I don't know, it's sort of bardic inspiration, but not, because it's mostly for you. But there are moments. I know. Wait, this is not. You can't share this with anybody, can you?
Superior aim, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So there is a few moments where, and that's what I like. There are different areas where you can choose to use this for manipulation or investigations and stuff like that.
This was one of the things that attracted me to the Savant class too. It's just the versatility here, the ability to roll the dice, the ability to help others. The one thing that I think is somewhat annoying because we're playing, like in a VTT, is the superior aim. It's like when a creature you see that continually makes an attack, you can make a reaction to expend it before you see the result. But like by the time I say, "Oh wait, I'll give you the superior dice," somebody might have already clicked it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I think we just need to make people aware that you have this ability.
Yeah, just so when we're going for like the killing strike or whatever, I can.
Yeah, it's always it's one of those things that's tricky. I mean, I don't think it's just with the VTT. I think it's also even at a table. I've seen it where people get a little bit ahead of themselves, right? And they get excited about something and they're going to do the thing.
But you can like wave them down, like wait.
Yeah. The tricky part with D&D is the abilities where you have to do it before a roll, right?
Yeah.
The ones that are great are the ones where you can do it after the fact, because they're the easiest ones to adjudicate as a DM. The ones that are like, okay, well, you have to do this before you roll or whatever, the blind rolls, which are cool. But again, if nobody knows that, like the tricky part, especially with a new system or a system where we have a few unique things that are only to us and not like regular D&D, is nobody knows about your ability. They don't even know about their abilities, right? Like honestly, I'm doing this I'm walking people through this on purpose so they could be like, oh, I didn't even know I had that, which has come up a couple of times. Or I didn't know it could do that thing. And this is just so like, again, hopefully like at the beginning of a combat or whatever, you can call out like, hey, I have this thing, and it's also good for me to know because I can keep an eye on it as well. Right. Like, again, keeping me honest about your abilities is kind of cool. So this is now you're moving into the mastermind.
Go on. At one comment I would have just mechanically for the previous one, is it's awesome that the dies improve, but I would almost prefer it to be like an additional bonus on a D6 because it reduces the swing value of it, which might be intentional.
That's intentional.
Okay.
That's intentional. No. So in this system, the die increase, the swing is intentional.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, I know you're looking for like the hard. If you want hard, you get magic items, right? Like a +1 gun gives you a +1 to attack and damage. There's no swing, right? Like it's a definitive amount. Yeah, no, the swing's intentional. Because it adds to the anticipation, right? So when you get a 1, you're like, oh. But when you get an 8, you're like, yeah, right? So it's.
I just think at like level 15, it would be really annoying if I'm like, I'm gonna add a D12 to your roll and I get a 1. Oh.
Well, that's just kind of that's again. That's.
No, I mean, I know there should be some swing. I just feel like it almost should be like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the give and take of a die system that between 1d4 to 1d20, right? Is that
okay?
There's other things. There's other things.
And I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys have thought through this. I was just saying that was my.
Oh no, of course, everybody loves guaranteed damage or whatever. That's what your proficiencies and your strength bonuses and all your other stuff adds to, right? Yeah. And then you got these spells that are coming, and then superior planning, right? So this one was kind of cool, right? So this now lets you. I don't know why you wouldn't do this on every roll, but and this isn't. I guess I still don't know why you wouldn't do this after any roll. I guess if you didn't have any superiority die left, but the fact that you add this to your check, and then whatever it is adds to your AC. I mean. That's the best part of it is the swingy bonus to AC that you're going to get there, right? So yeah.
I agree. But once again, limited to 4 dice per day. I mean, I burned through all 4 of my dice in that combat versus the automatons, insects. So
it's true, but you get it after a short rest, right?
Yeah.
A short rest. So short rests are easy to get if you can just get people to stop. And right now the way our pacing goes, which may change obviously, because again, like I said, we've been doing 1 combat and then some stuff, and it's a milestone, and you go up a level. Now you're moving from 3rd. You'll be moving from 3rd to 4th. There'll probably be a couple combats and then some stuff and then a milestone. So yeah, short rest will probably come into play a little bit more. Also, the other thing is like I'm still trying to learn y'all's pacing, and it really seems like in a 2-hour session we can get through half a day usually, right? So it takes about 2 sessions to get through a full day's worth of encounters and things like that. So
I think we might be able to pace that up as we get more familiar with the things we're rolling, and we're not constantly asking you, wait, what do I roll for influence projects again?
But I don't think it's going to change much. I think we'll just end up happening is we'll end up padding that with more role-playing conversations and stuff like that. So, I think I don't mind it. I actually don't mind it. It's just I just have to be acknowledging of the fact that like, oh yeah, there's a good chance that this is most likely going to be. If I plan everything to be 2 days and it goes a little bit faster, it's okay. But like, I think I just need it, because there was one time where I was like, we're gonna get through this whole day. No, I think it didn't happen. And then this is kind of neat. Also, the ability to kind of just have a item that you can produce that you may have already had on you, kind of thing, right? The idea is it's the whole like foresight kind of thing. Like I knew that I would need this, and so here's this item that I have hidden away that I
didn't even know consciously. I just slipped it into my pocket when I was leaving the house. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, any kind of thing. So that's pretty fun ability. Look forward to seeing that come into play as well. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, one more. And this is neat. To kind of just basically now at this point in time, you should not have any trouble. At least like initially being able to figure out something, or pull on a knowledge or a skill that you didn't necessarily have in your repertoire. It's not a proficiency. Oh no, you have proficiency, so you'll have proficiency with it. So any of the tools that you don't have proficiency in yet or whatever, when it comes up, I could, I'd be like, well, it'd be better if you had this skill. You could be like, well, I do have that skill. Why? Don't do that. I hate you thing. All right. Back to the beginning. So I was a big fan of this when I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, it's cool. That gives you just more flexibility skill wise.
Yeah.
To kind of be able to address. And also encourages you to go off by yourself more often because you don't necessarily have to have the person who's has the skill.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe we should have thought that one out more. No, I think Shadow City sets us up well to handle those kind of things. So it's not as big of a deal. Yeah.
Well, I think
All right.
that'll help with some of my skill rolls for influence that are at a negative, right? So I get proficiency in them. One of them.
Oh yeah, in that moment you would get a proficiency in it. Yeah.
So it can
100%.
offset some of that.
A little bit. So
Little
it's
bit.
a little bit better for you. Yeah. So we're gonna dive into your spa day with the last bits we have with our and it's not a spa day. And so the Wednesday evening ends with everyone kind of going off to their rooms and getting ready for their spa day. That's not a spa day the next day.
So before I go to sleep,
okay.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
After Perrin goes to bed, Ignatus is going to find a crate somewhere in the house and bring it and put it into the temple or the chapel.
Oh, okay.
Leave it there.
Okay. Start refilling it in there.
Just
one box at a day. Just one. Okay.
1 box a day.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's great. Yeah. You're doing that at the same time. Eston's doing the same thing. He's like, no. Eston would have somebody else do it. So you actually look and you see that there are more boxes in there. Like
nice.
Yeah. No, it never fully gets cleaned out. Every time it looks like somebody's getting cleaned out. It does seem to be refilling. So, and then
then I go to sleep.
And then you go to sleep. All right. And then the next morning you get you see a letter as per before slid under your door that's addressed to you, and you see it's in Miss Dreadmire's handwriting. Do you open it? Do you?
Yeah, I'll get up and open it.
Right. Inside is a invoice like before, the kind of light items, all the things that you've done for the family, like mechanical pest extermination, spoken on behalf of the family, blah 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 blah, and then an allowance of $120. And there's $120 in the envelope. And then there is a note written by Miss Dreadmire, which asks you to come see her when you have a moment.
Okay. Well, Ignatus is going to get dressed. Going to go down and get his coffee because he's non-functional without his coffee.
Sure.
So, and then after he has his coffee and is mostly done with his coffee, he'll go find Miss Dreadmire.
So, and Mr. Admire is organizing the staff, and they're off and about and doing their things, and the union members have kind of returned and are back to work. There, she's not focusing on them because they have their own foreman to do those things. And she sees you and she's like, yes, Master Ibis, son. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. How are you doing this morning? You were looking for me?
Yes. Eston has sent the rest of the family members and those of the household to speak with different members of their societies or groups or so forth, in pursuit of bettering themselves. I have noted that you hold a particular skill set, not too dissimilar to my own when I was younger, and was thinking that perhaps, if you wish, I could tutelage you in the finer arts of being one of a keen mind.
Ooh, intriguing. I did not know this about you, Miss Dreadmire. I would love to learn anything from you.
This is, yes, my pursuits in life. And while my teacher had particular ways in teaching me, I will basically, if you were up for it, the next couple of days, we will go over the finer things of what it means to be of a strategic mind.
Intriguing. Definitely something I'm interested in.
Excellent. Then let's get started. And then she basically takes you to you've been in Eston's office before, but never like spent much time in there, right? And like, oh, unless you didn't tell me you're sneaking around Eston's office. But she goes about and there's a number of files and books and things about the household there. It's not a full library, right? There is a library, but it's not.
I was going to say there's a separate library, right? Yeah.
There's a larger library that's not been updated or kept, so it doesn't have the full functionality of a library. But Eston does have a number of books and files, and especially about the family and things like that. And she just kind of goes over and makes some notes of the. So there are a number of things that may seem to others to be not so exciting aspects of what we do, but for us, knowledge is key. And so she points to like an encyclopedia set, right? And she's like, here you can get base knowledges of things that you may wish to call upon in the future that maybe come in handy. You won't know all the intricacies of said skills or abilities and things like that, but you should be able to recall enough if you read over these tomes to know what is going on, enough to be effectual in the moment. Long-term skill will take more study and refinement or whatever, but that is not. We are smart enough that we don't need such things of academia anymore. And she points to the books, and it's kind of leading to that ability we were just discussing, right? Your ability to call upon different things. This is for the next few days, we'll be studying these books, these letters, and going over your relationship to the family, things like that, for you to. She's like, you do realize, Eston cares very deeply about you. He sees your grandfather in him, in you.
He mentioned that once. I didn't know my grandfather that well, but I'm curious about that.
Well, yes. See, well, in time it'll come out, so you might as well know now. Your grandfather is you are not a cousin in the sense that you think you are a cousin to the family. You are actually the cousin of Eston's grandchildren. You are the grandchild of Eston's brother.
Interesting.
Your parents, as you know them to be, actually adopted you and took care of you.
That may explain why they seemed like they never wanted me.
Well, they did because, they were being taken care of quite well by Eston.
I was not aware of that. I'd always wondered why they sent me off, but
to a very good school.
True, but the school was fairly strict, and I'm not sure I was really a good fit for it.
We rise to the occasions, right? Sometimes the challenges that are put before us are there to test us.
True.
So yes, your grandfather is Frederick Skye.
Are you going to give me what's the spelling on that? Frederick? Is that
Frederick.
Just Frederick without the R, first R?
Correct.
Okay.
That's how we roll in this city. We remove letters.
I just wanted to make sure.
Randomly from words in order to make new words that are now names. This is how we go.
Interesting. I didn't realize I was so closely connected to the family.
Yes, well, that's why Eston has always liked you and made sure at least that you were taken care of as best he could without drawing too much attention to the situation.
Ignatus is just kind of slowly processing this information.
Sure, of course. That would be expected. And Mr. Edmeyer, you can tell did this on purpose, right? Giving you this information. You know that like she would not just is intentioned that you know this, and she tells you to do with this information as you will. Should you choose to share with the others, that is for you to decide. Eston will not make no announcements as such until you choose to say so. And you see, and as you're going through the books, there are information more about the family, about your grandfather, his death. He did die in a duel, so that's like when he was very young, 19. But the information around that is somewhat obfuscated, or not fully available. But with time and effort and research, if you wanted to look more into that or any of the other dealings, like so that makes Eston your great uncle, and your great aunt was Marguerite, who and so again, same thing. There are lots of, like, in Eston's office, there are a number of texts and so forth about the family. You can even find out about your great grandparents as well. But that seems to put you, when you see those documents, they put you off a little bit because they were very heavily involved with the church, like extremely involved with the church. So you see a lot of documents that are stamped by the autarch and by the church itself, and even like contracts and formalities with the church, with both funding the church and support of the church. Now,
does that apply to all the grand siblings, or is it just Frederick and Marguerite more, or Eston is involved too with all that stuff? Like, I'm trying to see if there's a different association with the church between the siblings.
There are different associations with the church. So when you look into it a little bit, you see your grandparents were very heavily, right? Like devoted. You even see remarks of not just the chapel, but other spaces within the household that you haven't seen, that were devoted to the church as a whole. And then you do see records of, like, and Mr. Edmeyer even points out, like, a lot of around the household, lots of not artifacts, that's probably the wrong word, decoration and decor that could be attributed to the church, that are like long-standing or whatever. The Marguerite, the sister, your grand aunt, was involved with not so much with the church, but more with the government, right? Which are kind of one and the same, right? So it's just, the church can exist outside of itself, right? Whereas the government is both the church and the government, because it's an autocracy, right? So
yeah,
she leaned more into that. You also see that her husband, who is a movie producer, originally a theater owner, and then moved into a movie producer, created a lot of propaganda films and so forth for the I'm sure that's probably not, they don't call them propaganda films, but you being a member of the cult of Tenebris can literally see that, like, these films. In fact, having been, at least the pamphlets and the literature that you get from the church or the cult basically call some of these things out as obvious propaganda against, because they were either films that spoke out about the other countries and the countries that you're at war with as Vesipon, but also the cult and those that believe in the cult, creating a pseudo scare against against those members and so forth, right? So while not outright calling for their deaths or locking up and so forth, it's enough. They're generated enough to create a wariness of those who are members of the cults or believe what they believe in. So little satanic panic, if you will.
while I'm looking through this, I'll kind of casually mention to Miss Dreadmire. Miss Dreadmire's still there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just casually mentioned to her, like, Eston mentioned that some of his notes he kept were unreadable. Is that something I can learn how to read some of those notes? Or is that something that he keeps private?
It is something that I believe he could choose to let one read. So yes, in time you would probably be able to read those notes. And then she points to the there's a wall that's very, or I won't say it's a set of the bookshelves that are very neatly organized, and they all have the same like book binding to them, and same spine and everything. It's actually, but it's the writing on the spine is in this. You can't. You assume they're in order. Oh, maybe that's not it. What's odd here is that again, for all of Eston's eccentricities, being in his office, you do get the sense that he's actually a very organized individual, and not as like disorganized or eccentric as like his, again, how he puts himself forth when he's out and about in the. And so you see a very structured system. Now, whether that's the influence of Miss Dreadmire or himself or whatever, but this is Eston's office, not Miss Dreadmire's. Miss Dreadmire is simply in here with you, but she does leave you alone to your own devices. So it's not like she's constantly watching you or whatever, right? There's a trust level here that is there. But I think that trust level is just because the things that Eston does not wish you to observe or understand are not observable or understandable at the moment.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd be curious to find out more about Frederick Skye and his involvement with the church, and curious
he
about
had
too.
Yeah, so he had no heavy involvement. He was 19 when he passed. He was not studying in the church or whatever. But we said that the Frederick, Eston, and Marguerite.
Yeah.
Huh? Sorry, Frederick. Yeah, sorry. Frederick, Eston, and Marguerite were all, they all went through proper Bibles, like school study. No, it's not Bible, but school study, church study. They went through like all the rituals and processes to be, proper members of the church as children, right? Their parents saw to it and everything like that. Frederick didn't necessarily, he was not going towards heavy support of the church. He's from everything you can see, he was not a party person, but was more on the social scene of things. Their sister wasn't, because she was the oldest. She was like 5 years older, so she was more already attending university when he passed away and everything like that. She was going to school for proper business training and everything like that. Eston wasn't like heavy church, but he was an anti-church at the time, at least, or whatever. And here you can see is that when Frederick died in a duel, that's as much information as you have at the moment.
Okay.
Eston went to go, instead of going straight to university and so forth, went abroad. And it was during his time abroad that I guess things changed, and you can see it in like there are letters back and forth between him and his sister, talking about his travels or whatever. They're not very forthcoming, just saying like, just so you know, sister, I'm here. How are mom and dad and so forth. And then eventually, the parents died sometime later. I think it was about 10 years later. I'll give you the exact dates. And then Marguerite took over so the grandparents passing away was immediate after Frederick died. But Frederick was the first known death in the family before the grandparents died, and then of course Marguerite and her family dying. So like, but her children all died before Marguerite did.
All right. So Frederick was 19, but he must have had a child. So is there details on who my actual parent is?
No, there's not. Not that you've seen so far. You would have to
Okay.
delve a little bit deeper into that. But
I
from
would
what you could see, Miss Dreadmire is keeping you pretty busy with the
Okay.
training and the mat.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this time, it's not something that during these 2 days of in Eston's office that you necessarily can cram all that or grab that info.
It's a spa day, right? So I'll just be there in my robe and slippers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for you, it's pretty much that, right? Yeah. You're flipping through books in your nice fluffy robe. So yeah,
Bunny ear slippers.
exactly. Yeah. So and then that's pretty much your 2 days. Your 2 days are just more of the same of looking through things and kind of getting a little bit of exposure to what Eston's office is and the manuscripts that are there. So if you wanted to, you could always potentially refer back to those or go back to this and spend time. But at the moment, again, most of this is your training to basically become a master
level 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
so would this library like give me a bonus for like a history check with the family if I spend time like researching it?
No bonus, but it would give you at least the ability to do research on the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it would be a source where you could go for information to try and learn more about the family. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then your Saturday morning starts with everybody coming back from their spa days, not a spa day. And are
they wearing bunny slippers too?
No, they were not wearing bunny slippers. You came the closest to being able to wear bunny slippers than anybody is going to be. So, but before we head out, how about you again? Let us know who you is. We can't find you on the interwebs, and anything else you like to call out before?
I am I'm Matt Walsh. You can find me on most socials at Matt P Walsh. Resolving 1 or 2 of them now because they apparently I had the wrong name, so I'm renaming a few things. But anyway, I'm out there, but you're more likely to find me every Tuesday on Shadow City Mysteries.
That's right, and we'll be back on Tuesday for Saturday morning. So this was Thursday and Friday for Ignatus and for everybody else, and Saturday will be Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. But in game Saturday morning will be when we'll be picking up with everyone.
Ignatus always likes fun Saturday night on the town, so I'm excited.
And before I head out, I want to give a shout out to all the folks behind the scenes that help make all this awesome stuff happen. So game design and writing, Stephen Cheney and Brandon Stoddard. Tarot design and writing, Rabbit Stoddard. Character design, Adam Schumpert. Tarot and symbol design, maybe that works. I'm not sure. Tarot and symbol design, Luana Zahra, and graphic and UI design, Fleur Sciortino of the Wanderer's Tome. I am the Christopher Mifsud, the game master and host of this today. And we'll tune in not Sunday night, Monday night for the last of the one-on-ones where we get with Quinn and Raven, also known as Goblin Katie, Downey, and Mandy for their one-on-one sessions before, again, moving to our normal Tuesdays at 9 p.m. So Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, check in for that one-on-one session. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time, and thanks for being awesome.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your Saturday night mats.